welcome to Singing Tips Live. My name is Benita Charles, and I am here with a very special guest today, the lovely, talented diva, Miss Jeanie Washington. And she is fresh off of her 50th birthday concert last night. It was absolutely amazing, so I had to have her on the show. If you're just joining me, my name is Benita Charles. This is Singing Tips Live. Every week I come in and I give singing tips to beginner singers to help them to become professional. But these tips are universal. A lot of people have found value from these tips. We cover everything from marketing tips to business tips to performance tips. All of this is artist development, and this is the process. By learning the process, artists they're able to take their career to the next level. But today is a very special day because I have a special guest today. She is a singer, she's a songwriter, she's a producer, she's an artist, and I'm very happy to have her here. This is Mrs. Jeanie Washington.
Hello.
Hey. So, who do we have? Oh, hey, Sam. Thanks so much for coming in. Welcome to Singing Tips Live. This is a special show for me because I have a special guest today, and I had the pleasure of seeing her perform last night. Absolutely amazing, number one. I mean, I was totally blown away. And everything that we cover here on Singing Tips, she took command of the stage. She looked beautiful, and I'm old school like that. Like I believe when you perform, you should look your best, and she knocked it out the park. Now, if you if you see my Facebook page, my post today, I posted a picture of her in her costume with myself, and she looked absolutely stunning and beautiful.
Thank you.
Hi, Auntie. Welcome to Singing Tips Live. Hi, Dina. Come on in. I'm here with my very special guest, Miss Jeanie Washington.
Hey, y'all.
Fresh off the heels of her hi. Thank you. Her wonderful concert last night. One word I can say, breathtaking. I mean, we were joking about her interest because so they announced her to come out. This is hilarious. So they said, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready for Jeanie Washington? And we were like, yeah. The band was pumped. The background singer started singing. They had the lights flashing and no Jeanie. Okay. So the band said, okay, one more round. So they went around again. Everybody's like, you! I'm screaming. You can hear me screaming on my video. And we're all like ready. The band is pumping. And everybody's ready. The background singers are getting it going. And no Jeanie. So finally people just like put their cell phones down. And it was just like, okay. And even the band kind of died down. So it was just like, okay. So all of a sudden I hear, they said y'all was ready, but y'all ain't ready. And we were like, oh, there she is. Ah! She made her grand. And from that moment on, she commanded the stage. She was a total diva, and I loved every minute of it because that's how I do it. She knocked it out the park, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I was in my element because I'm a performer too, and that's how I do it. Right. And so just to see her do that and be I was on the other side. Right. It just feels nice sometimes to just be on the other side and just sit back and relax. And she took us there. She took us on a journey. So last week we were talking about storytelling, and every song, she set the song up perfectly. She let us know what the song was about, why she wrote it, what the conditions were that led her to write it, and it made the song even better. She had a full piece band. How many pieces did you have?
I think it was 8 altogether.
She had piano, bass, drums, trumpet, sax.
Yes.
She had 2 background singers. She had keyboards, guitar. Oh my God! And it was a huge stage. Like the stage was huge, and everybody filled the stage out perfectly, and they still had room, but it was enough people to just fill the stage with the lights. And let me tell you what she had on. She had on a glimmery, shimmery catsuit, and she strutted her stuff, and she worked it, and she was absolutely stunning.
I do not recall that.
This is how you do it. This is how you perform. Okay, she's gonna have some video up soon.
Yeah.
You know, but ladies, the video doesn't do it justice. You had to be there, but it was just so. She just. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I got so emotional with her afterwards. I cried.
She cussed. She cussed. I was like, Benita, I've never heard such things come out.
You weren't supposed to. Because I don't normally swear. That's just not how.
She felt that thing. Let me tell you.
She touched me so much, ladies and gentlemen, that I was in tears because she was so raw. Like she had elements of that show that she just put it. She put it all out there. Well, and sometimes you have to do that. You talk about telling your story. She told her story, but it was like she put her life right here. Mm-hmm. And if you didn't like it, that's okay. If you were insulted by what she said, that's okay, because she was authentic. And that was one of the things that we talked about. When you tell your story, you have to be authentic. You have to just speak your truth. And one of the things that she did that was so sweet, she called me out on stage because she closed the show with Never Ever Give Up.
Yeah.
And she talked about how, she and I came to work on that song, how we met. She talked about how we met, but it was just so sweet. First of all, she said, "Is Benita Charles in the audience?" And I said, "What?" But it was so sweet. But I want you to share with the audience what you said in terms of following your dreams. And what did you say? I want you, because this was so important.
So I just gave the whole story about how 20 years ago, on this very date, I had gotten engaged. I'm not even going to tell the whole story today, but how at that time I was working on a demo for me to send out to songwriting companies and send out to record executives to try to get on. At that time, I was 29, so even though by music industry standards I was still probably a little older than I should have been, I was close. I was closer than I am now. But I got distracted. Instead of me finishing my demo, I started dating the producer that I was working with, totally off course, and that just took me way off of where I was supposed to be. But if you really love what God is placing you to do, you won't let it go. Because if you do, He'll take it from you and give it to somebody else. And you'll be that person when somebody comes to you, "Benita, I used to love the way you sing. You still sing?"
No, I'm not singing anymore.
I don't do that anymore. And I didn't want to be that person. I'm not going to let that go. That's the thing that God, I believe, birthed me for. I don't know who gets touched by what I do, but somebody does. Yeah. And can I say this first? I just want to say this first. I know I'm getting off topic. I just want to say this. I love Benita and I love her spirit. And Never Give Up would have never come about if she had not said to me, I really want to write a song about, following your dreams when you have to get up and go to work and, you got all these things pulling at you, but you really just want to follow this dream. I was like, I can write a song about that. Let's try it. And it just came into this wonderful song because that's the thing, that you have to keep working at it. You have to keep pushing it. If it's really what you want and you believe it's what God calls you to do, you can't let it go. Regardless of work and life and being a mom and having kids and all of that, you have to keep pushing after it. So she inspired me. I would have never written that song had she not said that's what she wanted to do.
Wow, thank you. I didn't know that. Yeah. Thank you.
Love you.
I love you too. I mean, we were in tears after the show. First of all, it was a labor of love for her because the show that she did last night was it was in celebration of her 50th birthday, and she knocked it out the park. Like, she went above and beyond for this show. First of all, she had a celebrity comedian from California. She flew him in to host her show. She had a 10-piece band. Eight.
Yeah.
I said 10. I can't count. 8-piece band with, you know, which had background singers, not including a wonderful after party that she had catered, and it was elegant. The food was,
yes,
the food was,
my niecey, go niecey.
Her niece is a professional chef.
Yes, she is.
What is her company's name?
The Goodie Bag with 2 G's, because she's fabulous like that. Go Deanna. She, oh my gosh.
Not only was the food good, but her presentation was, if you look at the picture that I posted with the balloon, and you can see the table in the back, the cake was, her desserts.
I got cake in the fridge waiting on me. You hear me?
Her
I'm
desserts were, I mean.
Get to it.
She had vegetarian, because I'm a vegetarian, she had options for people who were vegetarian. Everything was absolutely delicious.
She did great.
So, but this is Jean, because Jean was the one who coordinated this. She produced this.
I'm sorry, can I stop you? It was not me.
Okay.
That's the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit gave me that vision way back in 2017. It was like, you know what? You should do a show. You should release your first album on your 50th birthday. And let me just tell you that this one is the one who gave me the idea, because she was supposed to do it for her 50th. She was
now you're telling my age.
Hey,
okay, thank you.
We together. But she was supposed to do it for her birthday. And I was like, yes, Benita's going to release her album. We're going to go celebrate. We're going to go party. And then she was like, no, it's not ready. I want to finish it a little more. And I was like, okay. So in 2017, the Lord was like, you should release an album for you. What are you going to do? I was like, okay, what day is that, Mo? What day is my 50th birthday on? And it just happened to be a Friday. I was like, okay, we roll with it. So then, but God blessed me with really, really talented people around me who are friends. And, you know, people will be like, oh, you just know them. They're not really talented, but because they're friends and they're cheap, you just use them. No, these are talented friends who are around me. And I could not have done it without the band.
Everybody was talking about this band.
Oh,
the band.
They're trying to steal my band.
The band was so professional.
That's my band. Let me tell all of y'all. We don't have a name yet, but we're going to get one. And y'all cannot steal my... That's like stealing Sade from Sade.
The band was
You cannot steal my band, okay? Those are my people. But my hairstylist... When y'all look at that picture, I don't know who that woman is. My hairstylist, the stylist team, the beauty assassins, Jolie hair, they killed it. They absolutely killed it. And then I had friends who were just like, what can I do for you? That right there, that's a blessing. You can't say it's not. That's a blessing. And I could not have done the show without everybody who helped out. And then I had Benita encouraging me. We talked like every other week. She's like, okay, what are you doing? What are your goals? Okay, this is the end of the quarter. You got to get stuff done. So, yeah, we were encouraging each other. You have to have that. You have to have that to make your goals. You have to have people around you who, when you want to quit, they're like, no, you got it. You can do this. And you need that. So I thank God for that.
But she knocked it out the park. She knocked it out the park. And... you know, it inspired me. I was like, oh, shoot, I gotta get me a band together. I mean, I do have my trio, but and I used to have a band, but I kind of gravitated more to my trio. I like more of an intimate setting, but it was like, ooh, wow. When I saw her, she worked that stage. She to me embodied everything that we talked about on Singing Tips, in terms of working the crowd, in terms of, not allowing anything to... She was so focused. She was laser focused. She was authentic. She told her story. She set up every song. She has a beautiful song as a tribute to her father that we're all encouraging her to... That's going to be her next single. She actually released it, but she did an acoustic version of it last night that I really believe that's a hit. But it's a song that everybody can identify. Everybody has someone in their life that they lost. And explain what the song is.
Oh, you didn't tell me you were going to do that.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It just kind of happened.
That's all right. So my dad and I were real close, and my dad is the musical influence in my life. He was a jazz musician, and wherever he went, I wanted to go. So when he went to rehearsal, I went to rehearsal with him. When he went to gigs, if I could go, I went with him. So that was my musical influence all my life. And even though he played jazz and it wasn't familiar to me because it wasn't on the radio, he did straight ahead jazz like Duke Ellington and Ella Fitzgerald, that kind of stuff.
Ooh,
so I didn't really appreciate it. So when he started playing top 40, I started appreciating it more. But as he realized that I was singing, he would work with me. He would teach me some old standards. And
nice.
For high school graduation, I wrote the song, but I don't play. He wouldn't do that for me. He said he didn't have the patience to teach me how to play piano. I was like, yeah, you'd probably break my fingers. But so I couldn't play an instrument. So when I wrote the song, he wrote the music. And that was everything. It's like, you're encouraging me to keep going. It's like, I don't suck.
Aww,
Right.
Aww,
so
that's so nice.
He passed away in 2003. And I didn't have a time to like really break down and grieve because I had to take care of everything. I had to make all the arrangements and stuff. So I knew I wanted to say something to him, about him, let everybody know how much I loved him. I could not do it. It took me 12 years to write that song. It took me 12 years to be able to say what I wanted to say without breaking down. So, and then the whole hook of the song is called Save a Seat for Me in Heaven. And my mom had lost her twin sister 2 years after my dad died in 2005. And the year after, she wrote a memorial to my aunt in the paper. And she said, save a seat on the bench for me. I was like, what do you mean? What does that mean? She said when they were in school, they used to get in trouble all the time. And they'd get called to the principal's office. And there was a bench outside the principal's office. And whoever got there first would save a seat for the other one so that they could sit together and get in trouble. So she was telling her to save a seat for her on the bench in heaven. I was like, that's perfect. So I combined the two. I was able to say what my heart wanted to say to my dad and then use what my mom had used to say what her heart wanted to say to her sister. And it was a blessing for me. And then my mom passed 2 years ago, and I was like, God, okay. She got to hear the song. Before she passed away, I was able to play it for her, and she got to hear the song. So it was really just a blessing for me. And
Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm surprised I got through it.
It was beautiful, and it was just her and the acoustic guitar, but the message. I think it was a crowd favorite. I think it was like the favorite song of the night because so many people could identify with the message of the song and with her voice. She has a beautiful voice, by the way. Beautiful voice. And I will let everyone know when the music is available, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Because you have to hear her voice. And she's a wonderful songwriter as well. But she, like I said before, she embodies everything that we talk about here on Singing Tips, with her songwriting, her performance, just and just the event planning, the way she did that event, everything was so, it was just so, it was on point. It was just, I'm sorry, I'm still blown away, but, and I'm just so happy that it was here in Atlanta. I was able to come in and fly in and be here with her and also my college roommate, Sharon. She's come in on the broadcast before, Shay. She's come in on the broadcast before. Oh, and Jeanie has also been here on the broadcast before. So now you get to see her in person. So the next time she comes in, I'll say, everybody, this is Jeanie from Atlanta. Jeanie Washington from Atlanta. But I really wanted to share her with you all today because she's very special. Wonderful songwriter, beautiful artist. And she has a beautiful message, and she told her story. That was our lesson last week, was to tell your story. And she told her story wonderfully. She just put it all out on the table last night. She was so raw and so authentic. And everyone after the show, including me, and everyone was touched. And she had a wonderful opening act. Who was the gentleman that opened for you?
Mike Larsh.
He sang jazz. He sang classic R&B, and I spoke to him after the show, and he was concerned about his voice because it was dry.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, you don't worry about that because I didn't care about that. He touched us. He had us dancing. He sang Motown. He sang The Temptations. He sang Bobby Caldwell, Donny Hathaway, and then he sang Nat King Cole. That's just how versatile he was. And he had us dancing. Like, she had a wonderful, that's another thing. She had a wonderful opening act. The comedian was funny. He was a wonderful MC, and he was great with the crowd. He had everyone laughing. She had I can't say enough about that show last night. But I have a couple of things I want to ask you. You talked about your influences. But tell us about the new music, the music that's coming out that you celebrated last night.
Well, the music is awesome. Most of it was produced by G.K. Jones, and I love how he was able to hear my sound and hear where I was trying to go with the music, because it's hard to, when you don't write music and you don't play an instrument, it's hard to translate to people what you're hearing in your head when you hear a song. And he was able to pick up on it and just run with it, and I love the entire album. And then two of the songs, the song that you were talking about, Save a Seat for Me in Heaven and Runaway Child, are produced by Mark Baldwin, who also played guitar on the show last night.
Oh,
he's the one who played the acoustic guitar, right?
Oh, beautiful.
So that whole part of it, I love the album. You have to go get it as soon as I upload it.
That's all right. I'll let everybody know when it's available.
Okay.
As soon as it's available. Yep. Well, we kind of touched on 50. The big number, the big 50. I want to talk to you about age in the music business, because that's one of the things. I mean, a lot of people know I don't tell my age. Well, we just found out now. Yeah, I didn't. But I don't tell my age only because people have a prejudice against older musicians, especially women, older women. So I want to talk to you about that. Like, how do you feel as a 50-year-old woman being able to say that I'm 50 and I'm bringing some new music? Like, how does that make you feel in the sense of how the industry sees us?
Right. Well, I don't worry about the industry, because my life is in God's hands, and it's His decision. What happens with my life is His decision. Whether I'm successful or not is His decision. How far I go with it. There's nothing that man can do that can close a door that God has opened for me. So I refuse to let anybody shame me about my age. That's a blessing. I thank God for letting me get to 50.
Right, everyone? Can we just say that? She looks gorgeous.
Thank you. But I just thank God for letting me get this far. And I mean, the fact that I'm able to even release an album at this point, I thank God for that. So I'm not going to let anybody shame me about my age and try to tell me, well, you shouldn't do this anymore, because
and people have said that to me. They've done that, so that's a horrible thing to say to someone, that you're too old.
if the gift is still in you, you have to keep working it. I mean, it's disrespectful really to God to just say, okay, well, man doesn't like what I want to do, and I'm just going to ignore what you tell me and do what they tell me to do. So I just refuse. So if they don't like it, it's fine, but I'm going to keep working.
Well, one thing I like to say about that too is she didn't wait for anyone to swoop her up and give her a big record deal. Right. She's releasing it. This is self-release. She's doing this on her own. And people were so excited about her music. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to see what happens. The sky's the limit when she releases this. So we're really excited, and I would definitely let you guys know when the music is available. It's great music. It takes you back to the time when people really thought about what they sang. She has real musicians on her music, and her live shows is, it's, to me, the live show is even better than the recordings, because you really hear the quality of her voice. She connects to the audience. She tells her story in a very authentic and raw way that it really blew me away. And don't ever let anyone tell you you can't do it.
That's right.
And she, to me, was a prime example last night. She owned it. She owned that stage. She owned her music. She shared her music to the world. And she put it in God. Once she put it out there, it's in God's hands. What happens to that music? But I know it's going to touch people because it touched everybody in that theater last night. So it was. Did we? Is there anything else you want to say? Did you want to shout out anyone special who helped you last night?
Oh man, listen, like I said, I would have quit a long time ago if it had been up to me. And God blessed me and told me from the very beginning, this is who I want to help you. And I thank God for the loyalty. I thank God for the loyalty, for the confidence that people had in me. So I'll give you specifics. G.K. Jones, I just met last year. So he came in late on the project, and that boy he just ran with it. And most of it we did, he was out of town, and he was still able to work and get everything done. And then we had to rush and get all the recordings done by the end of the year. So I appreciate all of his help. Mark Baldwin jumped in and did the production. And I mean, he's always ready. He missed like almost all the rehearsals. I think he jumped in at dress rehearsal, maybe one before, and he was on point. He knew all the parts. He knew what he was supposed to do. And it's like that. It's like you just thank them for their dedication to your dream, your vision. If you can find somebody who will walk alongside you and not anything about them, right? Not anything about them, but totally just to help you get to see the fruition of what you've been dreaming of. You don't even know how good. You don't know how good that is.
That's a blessing.
You don't exactly. You have no idea what a blessing that is, because most people don't want that. If they can't get anything out of it, they don't want to do anything for you. That is such a blessing. So I think the whole band: Glenn Felton Jr., Mark Baldwin, Ronaldo Stewart, John Howard, Christopher Williams, Hayward Red, Sheena Brown, Mike Larche. My stylist was Yolanda Dupree. Beauty Assassins killed it. I did not recognize myself. That's why I was able to walk on the stage like that, because I was like, I don't know her. She was in full diva mode last night. She was gorgeous. I did not even recognize myself.
Makeup, the sparkles.
Yes.
And I've always been a person who loves sparkles. My mother told me when I was a baby, I would always gravitate to things to sparkle. Right. She was in full sparkle mode last night. It was beautiful. I was so overwhelmed because it was just totally me. It was just totally like, right. Yes, he did it. Yes.
Yeah.
It was
great. But so that Beauty Assassins is Tiffany Newson, Tatiana Howard, I think her last name is. Then like all my friends who just stepped in, they were like, what can we do to help you? That's Vicky Tarpley, Yemisi, Miss Deborah, Carlisle Brown did my website, helped me put everything together. Jasmine Crumley was my vocal coach. She did my album cover for me and tried to get me right the whole way. We're still working on that. Just my whole team, everybody who prayed for me and just kept me uplifted the whole time. Because I'm telling you, my butt was ready to quit in December.
Wow.
I was like, well, we'll finish what we can and we'll just have to postpone the show or do something. Like, no, we're not doing that. G.K. Jones, let me tell you, okay, I gotta tell you this little story. Okay.
Storytelling.
So I had a specific budget for the recording, right? And I had a number in my head. So I did not realize that there's mixing and mastering that you have to do for your album. And that crap is ridiculously expensive. So I had budgeted for the recording, but I had not budgeted for the mixing and mastering. So we finally got down to the point, I think we were in December, when we finally got done recording the songs. And now you got to mix and master just so you can release it. And that was like, people were quoting me like $2,000-$3,000. I don't have $2,000-$3,000 to finish this project. So my producer, G.K. Jones, was like, I'll work with you. Wow. And mix the whole thing for me and let me finance everything. And that, first of all, that's the favor of God, okay? That's the favor of God. You got to have the favor of God in your life. And
be going now because my battery is getting low. But thank you guys so much. Come on over to BenitaCharles.com. That's my website. Join the Singing Tips Live community. We're building it up. Just type in Singing Tips Live community. That's our Facebook group. We're going to be doing some things in that this year, but you know, it's growing. I thank you guys for your support. Please support Jeanie Washington, JeannieSings.com. And I will see you next time on Singing Tips Live. Thank you.
Night, y'all.